talk about bringing in the right types of vets so Cade and Ivy can learn from them so they can give them their – I don't know who he's talking to right now. He got what, Taj Gibson? He got what, right. Gallinari? Muscala?
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm just like – Wiseman and Bagley were young guys too next to him. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like from that standpoint, I want to see him have his vet. I do believe that if you're JB Bickerstaff, you're entering here, you don't have the same like right of play that you have with these guys because you didn't draft them. And if Ron Holland is somebody who you took fifth and he's sitting on the bench, then at some point in time, if you do believe in where Jalen Duren can get and you think you can help him get there, but it might not be immediately right now, I don't think you can continue to just, press and run and do the things that they're doing because I think it puts this team in a bad position, both defensively and offensively from your starting center position. Because I do agree with Sean. He is a young player, very young player, needs more development, has enough to give you right now. I just don't know where the tick is that turns that motor on every single game. Where's the tick that makes him just every rebound is mine? There's not anybody that's a guard that's coming down here and getting this. It's like when I listen to some of the old players like Rasheed Wallace and even Andre Drummond talk about rebounding, Drummond was trying to elbow his own teammates for the rebound. We laughed at that. We said, what in the heck? What kind of teammate is that? Now I'm sitting here like, how do we get Drummond to do? How do we get Duren to do that? You know what I mean? Like that level of like, bro, this is how I know I'm going to make my money. And Duren made his money doing it that way.
I almost wonder.
I'm hoping that Duren looks up, sees kind of what's in front of him because, yes, he's going to need more development. But you're telling me he can't be a walking at least 10, 10, and 2? At least 3 stocks a game, maybe?
I almost wonder if Andre Drummond could be that vet. Like he's in a Philadelphia situation where he was brought in to be the backup big as a contender. I'm not saying you bring him in to be like your starter or anything like that, but Andre Drummond, if there's anyone that knows, what it's like to see a young player that can that could be doing more and maximizing, like what they have, I think it is an Andre. Just an idea I'm throwing out there, and especially someone you would probably be able to not acquire for very much. He's talked about wanting to play in Detroit again, before the end of his career as well.
Openly.
So
he still has a house here.
Yep. Yep. So I mean, to me, that's something that would make sense. But I do think, like to Kool-Aid's point, like I do think before you move off of a Jalen Duren, I think it would make a lot of sense to bring in that type of veteran presence to see if you can get someone, get some more people in that locker room that can help unlock that potential. Because I mean, we all know it's there.
I thought of a vet that's not on an NBA roster. He's an NBA champion, JaVale McGee. Yeah. We have an open roster spot. He's not on an NBA roster. He's trying to get back into the NBA. I don't know.
Anthony, you're cooking tonight.
Where he's at. Man, this is my full-time job now, so this is all I do. It's like look up players. But honestly, man, like I look at JaVale McGee, I look at the shot blocker that he is. I look at how athletic he was as a player. Like, who's to say you can't get a JaVale McGee, bring him in, work with Isaiah Stewart, work with Jalen Duren? We saw what Taj Gibson did to James Wiseman. He unlocked James Wiseman, and we're talking about James Wiseman in December. And James Wiseman is on the Pacers, and I don't even know why we're doing it, but like bringing in veterans matter. Like you see what Malik Beasley and Tim Hardaway Jr. and Tobias Harris have done to this roster. Get Jalen Duren a big that he can learn under, make sure that, he's engaged, make sure that, he's not like his body language. I thought at times this year, I haven't really liked it. Like you need someone to like really uplift your spirits. If you're having a bad day, having a bad night, say, hey, yo, like you could have done this better. You could have done that better. Lock back in. Don't let one possession dictate how you're going to play tonight. And I think a guy like JaVale McGee, 100% could really elevate his play.
And you know what? One of the first practice that I saw Tobias Harris in, you know what I saw? Look, Tobias Harris was with Jaden Ivey. It was Jaden Ivey, Fred Vincent, Tobias Harris, working with his shot. And I took the steal, posted it online, and everybody was like, yo, look at Tobias Harris already out there paying dividends. And I look over at the bigs, and you don't see that. You don't see it. It's literally Stu, it's Duren, it's Paul Reed, and that's your bigs. And there's no vet. There's no, yes, they got their development coaches, but there's no vet over there that's actually able to walk on the court and bust their tail and then tell them, what did I tell you? Like, they don't have that. Like, Jimmy Butler was able to walk into certain rooms and do that. And I get it, the type of player that he is. But you need somebody that can walk, in my opinion, into that room, and be able to command a little bit of respect, a little bit more respect than they have right now amongst those bigs. And so I'm hoping they can do something like that to unlock the potential of Jalen Duren, because you don't even have to reach full potential with him to get something very special. You have to make sure he's engaged, locked in, knows where to be on the court. Help with his stamina, please. And I know that has a lot to do with him personally, but I do believe in the type of player he can be, just like all of us do, which makes the conversation like this difficult. It does.
Does anyone else, I've got to get out of here, guys, in a minute, but does anyone else find it pretty funny that when you think back to the start of the restoration, the Pistons were clowned for all the centers that were 5 years down the track and they still don't have the answer?
Still paying Dwayne Dedman.
Dwayne Dedman, is he still on the books?
Yeah.
Oh, man, like,
Bring him in. Just come on back, Dwayne Dedman.
Pistons legend, Dwayne Dedman.
Why not? Bring him in.
Or was it DeAndre Jordan who was also on the roster at one point very briefly as well? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we've had more centers
Mason
come in and get waived than have actually come in and produced. It's kind of depressing.
Mason Plumlee was actually okay, but it's interesting. Like,
shout out to the Plum Dog millionaire.
I'm going to leave after this, guys. My whole thing with Duren is like, okay, he gets to this certain point, but like, how much do you want to invest in a center that has his skill set? Like, like that's the thing for me. Like, when I look at the young players the Pistons have and who they can potentially invest in, when you just look at the positions they play, this is why for me, out of Cade, Ivy, Holland, Asar, and Duren's number 5 for me, because I just think like centers that offer the skill set he does, it's just not the most valuable thing. Like, you are better off investing in someone like Asar Thompson, who can, even if the jumper never gets to an amazing level, he brings so many, crazy skills that not many players have, like defensively. Like, you've seen when he's just been back in his 5 games, like watching him like guard someone full court, like that just puts a smile on my face. But like, he is so has so many unique skills. And then Ron, like 6'7" wing, athletic, like the way he can finish around the rim, and like, I'm not sure what the percentages are. They're probably not great, but some of the finishes he has in the footwork, I'm like, whoa, like, it's just stuff like that that's so much more valuable to me. And I'm not even like trying to like shit on JD. I just think he's just come at a time with his skill set where, like, people talk about how Andre Drummond, if he came in the 90s, like he would be this and that. And it's kind of a similar story that even if JD, like we talk about his playmaking a lot, which I do like his passing, but how much do you want to use that when you have, because at the end of the day, there's only so many possessions in a basketball game. Like, I want the ball in Cade's hands. I want the ball in Ivy's hands. I want the ball in, if they get Brandon Ingram, I want the ball in his hands, like making decisions, because I think that's the most optimal outcome. So that's where with JD, it's like, I hope for him and his career, like he gets to a point where he's a starting center on a real team. But it's just with the players the Pistons have, I kind of struggle to, like, if he hits that optimal outcome, it's like, is that actually the best thing for this team anyway? So I don't know. I'm going to leave you with that. I hope the best for JD. I don't like seeing him struggle and look like he's like losing confidence, but like you guys have laid out, there's some things effort-wise that he's done this season that it's like, it's hard to defend that and not get mad. So.